What's up, Internet? I'm Aries Van Dam. How y'all doing today? I love that music. So today I've got a very special episode because this is something that's very, very important, I feel. Revealing the covert feminists. It's easy to spot the fucking blue-haired ones that are going to argue with you. The covert feminists are the bigger issue to me. I feel that's worse, right? Because they want to be treated like princesses, but they still want to vote. They still want to be in charge of men. They still want to be boss babes. So we're going to look at Millennial Millie's exposure today. This comes from whatever, but I'm getting it from Back to the Roots again. Go check out Back to the Roots. And I wanted to show you this too. I found a conspiracy here. I wanted to get a mug, like a Stanley mug that keeps my water cold, right? And I needed one that had the lid that's incorporated with the straw. The straw is built into it. And to get a big one, the only way you can get it at the place I went was Caitlin Clark. You've got to support the WNBA if you want cold water. That's the only one they had. So I figured I'd get it just to be ironic. But notice, if it's the only one you can get, yeah, I guess people are supporting the WNBA if you don't have any other choice. Anyway, so the first video, we're going to pick up at the 10-minute, 26-second mark if you're looking for timestamps. Let's dive into it. I'll do this first so you don't hear my TV. All right. Oh, and we do have a very special guest today. We have Ozzy in studio. Say hi, Ozzy. So, there you go. Let's get it started.
I want to push major university, like.
There's actually very few of them, just so you know. The anti-suffrage, when it comes to feminism, the anti-suffragettes far outnumbered the suffragettes. Far and away outnumbered them.
So I guess the real question is, why do you think the men
allowed it?
Voted it in? Because the men were the ones that voted it in.
Because they had people like Rockefeller who were doing this mass funding behind the scenes, and there was occult roots that go all the way back to the early, basically Protestantism brought you feminism.
And because a lot of men are simps. A lot of men have daughters, which I did, and I understand the starting to think that way, but it is a mind virus. You have to keep that in mind. Feminism is a mind virus. So a lot of men, they love women, like they love women in their life, and they think that means that all women should be involved with everything and have no accountability for anything. I don't know how they made that jump from, I love my daughter, or I love my mom, or I love my wife, or whatever, to they need to vote and send men off to war. I don't know where that jump comes, but some men are simps like that, and they just feel that way. I'm seeing that in my personal life with some guys. Then when they encounter my videos, they're like, "You think that way about women?" Yes, motherfucker, I do. How do you not? But that's how it got in, because a lot of men are stupid simps. So
how do you think they convinced the general male population that
exactly?
It should happen?
Wait, so you don't think we should vote? That's your view?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I think women should be able to vote, but I'm not a feminist.
Yeah, but
why do you think they should be able to vote?
Why shouldn't I be able to vote?
Well, that's not my question. That's answering my question with a question.
No,
yeah, but
that is.
Do you
why
think I should
shouldn't
have
be
to
able
pay
vote?
taxes?
I think I should.
Well, so
You're
let's
right.
start-
Wait. We didn't
So let's
get
start-
to
so
your
let's start over.
Millie. We didn't
Let's
Should
get
I
start
pay
over.
taxes?
Hang on, let's start over.
Should I pay taxes?
Your position is you should be able to vote.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, why should you be able to vote?
Because I'm an American citizen and I pay taxes.
Okay, so let's assume for a second, as you know, most people in America do not pay taxes. Do you think they should be able to vote?
Well, if you The problem with your reasoning is we have a law that says you can't have taxation without representation.
Yeah, so,
So
it doesn't. The
therefore,
law doesn't say that
if you're a
because there's
tax-paying American, and that's why they debate this in
Wait,
D.C. all the
that's
time.
insane.
D.C. residents are paying taxes,
is
and
not-
they don't.
He should have asked her, what law are you speaking about? Because she'd have no idea. She just heard that somewhere, that there's some law. She's equating that to the Boston Tea Party, where that's why we revolted from England, because we had taxation without representation. I don't think she could quote a law that says that. I think he should have called her on that.
Don't
Listen,
have proper
This
representation.
is, first of all, this is a goalpost move. I'm not going to let you get away with it. We're going to move right back, and then I'm going to address that second point after we move right back and destroy your first point. The first point,
You're not gonna
there
destroy
are
anything.
people. Yes, I will. Watch.
No, you
There are
won't.
the first point are the first point is there are people right now who pay no taxes, right?
What about
Should they be able to vote?
Probably not.
Okay, so you
Yes.
would agree that those
They
people
should still be able
so
to
you, not arguing with you yet.
Let's do split.
So we should be able.
That is
So,
crazy.
so then, as we look at this, then we should be.
I want you to notice this little girl on the far right, too, how she keeps covering her midsection. You're on a podcast, babe. You need to get past some of those, like, little lady hang-ups you got.
Be able to
Be a big
see
girl.
that you want for at least some people to not be able to vote, right?
Well, I'm saying that Americans have the right to vote. That's what it
okay,
says.
so then I'm asking you an ought, not an is. I'm not asking you what is true. I'm asking you what
How
ought
about
to
let
be
me
true.
ask you a question.
You can ask
Should
me a
women
question. I
pay
have to
taxes?
answer my
Wait,
question.
wait,
Should
wait,
women
wait,
pay
we got-
tax-
Let me respond to your question with a question. That's starting to look a little feministy, isn't it? Isn't that what they always do? You'll see
we
why.
missed.
I
Should
just want to know
women
why
pay
you think we
taxes?
shouldn't be able to vote.
Wait.
Like, are we that emotional?
Wait.
Yes. Don't you see?
Anyway, so
Should
back.
women pay taxes?
Calm down. Relax.
You calm down.
So
One
emotional.
one step at a time. Yeah, telling you to calm down is me being emotional.
Yeah,
So,
you are. You seem to be getting a little frustrated.
I don't
over
know.
there.
You seem to be kind of a dumbass. You want to answer my
Oh,
questions.
okay.
So an ought from an
Ad
is.
hominem attacks.
Do you know what an ought and an is? Is claim, is true, ought, should happen.
Mm-hmm.
Should everybody be able to vote?
It's only an ad hom if you don't back it up.
Who's everybody? Should Americans be able to vote? I
Yes.
don't think
Okay.
illegal immigrants should be able
Don't
to
be
vote.
pedantic. Should all Americans be able to vote?
Are all Americans required to pay taxes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But do all Americans pay taxes?
And guess what happens to those who aren't paying taxes? They get
Nothing.
in trouble with the IRS.
No, they don't. Most people don't
Well,
pay
they-
anything into the tax system. They're not a net positive tax system.
Well, if
What
they're
are
not
you
making
talking
an
about?
income, then they don't have
No, they
to
make an
file.
income.
No, if they're not making an income, they don't have to
Listen,
file.
no.
And therefore,
there are people who make
they wouldn't be
more
having to file.
back from
They
the
wouldn't have
government
to
on an
pay.
earned income child credit than they
Okay.
pay into the government.
Okay, and that's
Should those
another
people
issue.
be able to vote?
You're still not convincing me why women
I'm
should
not
be able
trying to
vote.
convince you. I'm asking you a question. Should those people be able to vote?
But
Should American citizens be able to vote? Yes.
Should, well, then your argument that just because they pay taxes doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm saying
because
that's one of the reasons
let me
why I
finish,
should
and then
be
I'll
able
let
to
you
vote.
finish.
I
I
pay
promise.
taxes.
Let me finish, and
And
I'll
we
let you
have
finish.
a law that says
Relax,
you have
lady.
to have
Let me finish my point. I'll let you
representation.
finish your point. So, if that is true, then your original argument of, hey, wait a second, people who pay taxes, because they pay taxes, they should be able to vote. But we've just established many Americans do not pay taxes, and you still think they ought to vote. So your first argument's moot. Now let's move to the second
No,
one.
it's not moot.
Go. Then explain it to me again.
I have a question.
Explain to me why women should be able to vote.
She's just incapable of answering a fucking question. It's going to get worse.
I
Watch.
still haven't heard you explain
Okay,
anything.
I'll
Isn't that
get.
why you
I'll
brought
get. I'll get
representation
to
and
it.
taxation?
I'll get.
You
I
are
promise you, I'll
also
answer your
because we
questions
have a law
after
in
we
the
go through
United
yours.
States that says we have to have. There's a
Laws
law
are
that
changeable.
says no taxation without representation. Are women just as
Can we move past that
responsible?
point? I
What
just
law
want to
says
know
that?
why
What-
he thinks we shouldn't
What
be
law
able to
says?
vote.
What law says that because you should have representation? Okay,
You
that
don't
that
have
means
representation
everybody
if you
should be
can't
able to vote.
If you cannot vote, you do not have representation.
Okay,
They're
voting
arguing
rights.
the legal matter in D.C.
Most people
because
in
DC
American
doesn't have
history could
proper
not vote.
representation
Most-
and they're paying taxes. So
most-
therefore, it's in violation of
No,
the
it's
law.
not. Most
yes, it
men
is.
and women. First of all, voting rights are affirmed in the negative. You know this, right? They're affirmed in the negative. There is no right to vote because you have no right
They're
to
negative
do
rights,
anything.
is what he's saying.
They're negative rights. Negative rights, not positive rights.
You lost her. She's not even getting that.
Meaning you don't have to do any of these things, and they're only affirmed in the negative. States,
you don't have to
stop.
vote.
States themselves used to always
But
be
you
the
have the
ones
right.
who had jurisdiction over this. Now, when it came to voting itself,
Always talking when they should be learning.
and when it comes to voting, even right this second, all the laws say is that if there is a vote, you can't be barred based on X, Y, and Z. Not that there even has
I
to
think
be
you're
one.
actually
Actually used to
avoiding.
need to,
I
like,
think
serve
you're
in the
actually
military
avoiding
to
explaining
vote.
why women shouldn't be able to vote. So,
So-
you tell me,
Right.
why should women not be able to vote?
Okay, so I'm going to answer, but I want to promise from you that we're going to go right back to this so that because I'm not going to let you weasel out of it.
I didn't weasel
by
out
an
of it.
incessant
I
peppering of
answered
questions
your question
without answering any.
And you're asking the same
No,
question
but
repetitively.
because-
I answered your question by asking you a different question back.
Because
So
I have already
I've
shown a
answered my
flaw in
question.
your logic.
There's no flaw in the logic
I'll
there. I
explain I'll explain the
explained it
flaw
to you.
again. The flaw is if your argument is people who pay taxes should be able to vote. We've already established there's multiple people who don't pay taxes. So why ought they be able to vote? Your answer is duh.
That's not my answer.
Then what's your answer?
I said that Americans are supposed to be able to vote. They're supposed to have representation. There are tax-paying
Based on law,
women.
right?
Are there women that pay
We're
taxes?
talking about an ought. We're talking about an ought, not
Are
an
there women that
is.
pay taxes?
Yes, of course.
So they should. You're saying they should not be able
My
to vote.
argument is not that taxpayers should be able to vote. That's your argument.
Okay, I'm saying women should be able to vote.
I know, and I'm asking you why.
Other than
I'm
taxation.
saying women have a right to vote because we're American citizens. We're
Mm-hmm. That
taxpayers.
is true.
We're
Why
property
ought-
owners.
but-
We have a stake in the interests of the country.
Should only property
we should have
be able?
representation.
Okay, so should only property owners be able to vote?
Everyone should be able to vote. What if we say that? It's a
'cause
human right
again-
to be able to vote. Then why cannot
the
women
problem-
vote? Stop arguing with
Desperate to get the heat on her. So stupid.
her and just tell her
problem-
why
Talk
you
about
don't think
human
women
No,
should
I'm gonna finish my argument over here. So anyway,
Okay.
we have to distinguish an ought from an is. You
And
keep
you
on
sit
saying
there and
it's
shut up.
true.
refusing to say you're the one
Yes,
who
I'm gonna
initially
get
came
to
out
it.
and said you think women should not
Yes,
be allowed
that's
to
correct.
vote, and you still haven't even made a sound argument.
Because you gave me your reasoning first. So I'm just going through your line
No,
of
we
reasoning.
spoke about one thing. I have many reasons why I believe this, and you're honing
Now
in on
I
one
will
thing.
give you my reasoning, and we can see if there's any flaw in my argumentation. Men are the enforcers of rights. And because they're the enforcers of rights, they deserve to have all the privileges that comes with enforcement. Women are not the enforcement of rights, including for other women. Only men can enforce the rights of women. Therefore, only men should be able to have the stake and the claim to vote. Period.
How can only men enforce the rights?
Well, I'm glad that you
Who goes to fight in war, stupid? Who's the only one getting drafted, stupid?
asked. You have rights, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is a right?
A right is something that basically we've defined out through a Bill of Rights or Constitution.
something the government
That's
can't.
it.
Something the government
That's it.
can't do to
That-
you.
It's an entitlement
Right.
absent a duty.
Right.
Is that a right?
Well, what do you mean by absent a duty?
There's no duty with your rights.
We're given. We have God-given inherent rights in America.
Okay.
Right, and that's where we enshrine our rights from, is the rights that
Because I read it on a piece of paper somewhere.
God gave us.
So God gave you the right to own a gun?
He gave us the right to self-defense.
Did he give you a right to own a gun?
He gave us the right to self-defense.
Yeah, I know, but
And
that's
we
not
have
my question. Why do you keep on not answering my question? Did he give you a right to own a gun? Or is
Yes.
that... Okay, he did. So that was not... Your right to own a gun is not something which can
She got a license from God to own that gun.
be taken away
Here's
from
the
you.
other thing. You say only men can be enforcers of law. There are women can
Rights.
actually
No, I
have
didn't
a
say
gun,
laws. I said
and they can
rights.
enforce rights. They can protect rights with guns as well, because guns are equalizers.
So let me
a
explain
small
this the best
percentage of
way.
men.
Let me explain this the best way I possibly can.
They give
so that you
children
understand.
guns in some
Yeah,
countries
Let me
to
explain
fight
this the best way that I
wars,
possibly
okay?
can.
So women can
I
also
know, you're just
have
prattling.
guns.
You're just prattling.
It's not prattling.
I thought you wanted the explanation. Do you want me to give it to you or not? So I'll give
Guns
you-
rights are women's
I'll
rights.
give you the explanation instead of your incessant prattle. So here's the actual explanation. Men are the enforcers of rights. Rights don't exist. They don't exist. You can't taste them. You can't touch them. You can't see them. They're a social construction.
No, men did not create the rights. God did.
Okay, he did. What
Yes.
rights did God give you?
God gave me the right to
To-
exist. He gave me free will.
Do you have a right to exist?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you couldn't just wink out of existence tomorrow?
God created me.
What does that have to do with a right?
I have the right to free will.
You have
Right.
a right to literally nothing except what other
Freedom of
people allow you
speech.
to
We
have.
God
All of
given
your rights
inherent
can be
rights. That's what it literally says in our Constitution.
I know what it says, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Oh, so you don't believe in the
I
Constitution?
don't believe that rights are real.
Okay, so you don't believe in the Constitution.
I don't believe that
So
rights
then
are
go
real.
to a different country.
I
then.
didn't say. What is that?
That's the level of intelligence on this blonde.
It have to do with anything. Even if
You
I
don't
said,
believe in
okay,
the
I'll go to
Constitution.
another country. Now rights are suddenly real. That makes
So
no
why are you
sense.
even talking about rights if you don't
Because
even
that's
believe in the
the that's the
Constitution?
core of what we're talking about, the right to vote. Last I checked, right?
You don't even care about rights because you don't believe in the Constitution.
I don't believe in rights. I believe the Constitution is real.
Do you think
But that doesn't mean I believe that
better
rights are not a
system of
social
rights?
construction. Are rights a social
So
construction?
how do you think the Constitution
You
is
keep
a right?
asking me questions, even though I've answered all of them. Are you going to answer one of mine? Are rights a social construction?
I wish you would ask her this. She keeps saying God gives her these rights. Is it in your Bible? Does it say that in your Bible, or does it say it on the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution or wherever you're looking? Where are you getting this from? Because the Constitution doesn't tell you God's word. You get that from your Bible and your priest, don't you?
I believe in the Constitution.
I
believe
know,
that
I believe.
Americans have the right to
Oh, I
vote.
believe. That's not. Are they real or not?
Is
Sir,
what real?
Rights.
Sir, can
Or
I?
are they a social construct?
No, I think our rights are God given. See, in
What
reality,
right is God given?
Let me explain
Can I
something
ask
to you.
a
In the old
clarifying
days-
question?
hold on, really quick. Let me explain something to you.
Okay, explain it.
Where did the monarchs used to derive their right?
Yes, Blondie. God gives it to some people on earth. He only gives it to the people in America. God looks down and says, you know, the people born in that little piece of land, they should be able to say whatever they want, right? That's how you know it comes from God, because that's how it happened. I don't really think that happened that way.
Well,
God.
their right to
The
rule, yes.
monarchs were sovereigns, and they believed that they had the direct lineage from
Oh.
King David, and therefore they had been given the right
Uh-huh.
of God to rule over their people.
Oh, monarchs
When we
did.
had, yes, because
Okay.
they believed they had been given the right from God to rule over the people. When
And
we
how
had
did they
the
enforce
Declaration-
that right
hold
to
on,
rule?
Don't interrupt. When we had the Declaration of Independence,
All she has done is interrupt. She'll ask him a question and then immediately start talking while he's trying to answer it, and says, "Don't interrupt."
right? We had 1776. That was a group of American founding fathers coming together and recognizing that they, in fact, were all given God-given rights, and it wasn't just the sovereign; that we were all sovereign,
this is
and that we
all-
were all given
This is
God-given
all
rights.
John Locke nonsense. Listen.
It's not John
Enlightenment.
Back it
Locke.
up. Well, back
This
it up.
is what
Yes, it is. It's
founded the American
enlightenment. Yes,
principles
the Enlightenment
and created
principles.
the middle class.
The Enlightenment principles
It
are
created
what
the middle
founded
class,
it.
okay?
Okay. Well, no, it didn't. But
Yeah,
anyway,
the-
the Enlightenment principles that you're talking about right now, they still acknowledge that
Literally.
rights are social constructs. They have to be.
They're
And when
not.
you talk
That's how
about
you get your rights
when you
stripped
talk
from
about
you if you
a
believe
God,
that ideology.
if your rights can be stripped on you,
The ideology, isn't that like a worshiping of a higher being? I don't think he's worshiping it.
which how you know the ideology I'm talking about is true.
If you can
They
convince
can't be real
people-
if they can be taken from you. You have a right to
How is
nothing.
this not more relative?
What do you mean?
More
What do you mean by
relativism?
only men can
If you
enforce
can convince
rights?
people that
I'll
they
explain.
don't have any rights and it's all a social construct, you can strip them from them. You can
No.
convince them.
They strip you anyway. If you commit a felony, you don't get own a firearm anymore. You can't vote. So they just say shit, and people let them get away with it because they got titties.
That
That's
they
what
don't have
happens.
rights.
But-
But if people know that they have God-given rights and that their rights come from God,
Then they can act as though they're real, and then they can enforce that.
they are real.
God
God
They're
did
not
not give
real.
us a right to vote,
They're made up.
unfortunately.
Our rights are real.
They're socially constructed. Can you point out a right for me real
So
quick?
how do you call it?
Hey, is there a right over
Christian?
there? What about over there? Hey, is there a right down there? Is there a right? I don't see any. Where are
Do
they?
you not believe in the authority of God?
Yes, of course. God is an existent objective
Okay,
being.
so what did God
The ultimate force is God. He has all the force, so he has all the authority. That's where rights come from.
tell
Force.
Israel?
About which thing?
Okay, did he not give him authority? Did he not give the line of David
Yes,
authority?
you can
did
say.
he not give his
but
children
who
authority?
enforced?
He did.
Who enforced the authority of kings? Kings.
Okay, so the priests apparently are given rights from
Kings.
God, correct?
Yes, and they enforce their authority as well.
Okay, so
You always
how's
have an
that not a
enforcement
social
arm.
construct in your
Because
logic?
these are objectively given from a being. The construction of your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th amendments, all of them are social constructs. They don't exist in tangible reality. If they do, point one out. Show me. Show me your right to vote. Where is it? Absent your mind, show it to me.
The one for quartering.
You
Show
can say that
me.
with anything.
Yeah, no, well, you can say about
We're
anything
talking
that
about
is a
the-
social
We're
construct.
talking about the spirit, so of course you're not going to be able to have something
Noah
physical
donated
when we're talking about the
$200.
spiritual.
That blonde is making a really good argument as to why women shouldn't
No
vote.
shit. But
oh,
anyway,
wow.
back to this.
Can I ask a
Back to
clarifying
this.
question?
Hang on. Let us finish the argument. We're almost
I
done.
know it.
Let her talk. She's helping our cause.
We have.
It's ridiculous. No, you guys
Can you
want a
show
bunch
me,
of guys like him
absent the
that
mind,
don't
where your
believe in
rights
the
are?
Constitution to vote? Okay. Yeah, that's great.
The rights aren't a social construct. Can you point to one outside your mind?
The
Can you point to a right outside your
Can you
mind?
point to the
Don't
spirit
ask me a
outside of
question.
your mind?
Answer my question. Can you point to a right
Can you
outside your
physically
mind?
define the spirit?
That's another
Can you
question.
This is very torturous to me. She does not answer a single question this entire time.
Physically define consciousness.
Stop asking the question. Answer it.
No, because
No,
you're not.
because you can't.
No,
You can't answer
no,
it.
because
you,
you're not
you
the one
imbecile.
driving
Where
the
is a right
conversation.
absent your brain? Where is it?
Okay, but
Define the consciousness.
why can women not vote
See,
if they're
the
not the
funny thing
enforcers of
here
rights?
is-
I want to know that.
No, the funny thing here is this is what's debated when scientists are talking about AI. They're debating consciousness, and there are so many philosophers and people that debate consciousness all the time.
Yeah.
So you're asking me to define the spiritual and consciousness and put it into a physical state, which you know is impossible. So you're going with a false argument
Consciousness
here
are rights?
to try to prove a point that you're not even touching.
Consciousness are rights? Being conscious means that you have
Your
rights?
spirit and your soul.
Do people in
is where
Somalia who are conscious have rights?
you don't
Where are
need the
rights
spirit.
absent your brain?
Why can't
Where are
women
they?
vote? Why can't
Where
women
is your
vote?
right to vote absent your mind?
Where is your
Stop
argument
asking me
absent
a
your
question
mind?
and answer one.
Where is your argument absent
I'll
your
tell you what, I'll
mind?
answer any fucking question you want after you answer this one.
Where is your argument outside of your subconscious? outside of your
All of my
conscious?
arguments are based in the epistemological. The epistemology and the ontology that I have comes directly from God and divine command.
Really?
This answers, yes, and yours
And
too.
I said,
And all
I
Christians.
believe my rights are God-given.
That's great.
So why are you? Why
and
are
that's
you
what we're
saying mine are-
talking about. Now, I just answered your question. Now, answer mine. Where is this
Not gonna
right
happen.
to vote absent your brain?
Where's your argument?
Yeah, I just won't answer it, no matter what.
Wait, can you answer his question though? Just,
No, she can't. She knows. She already knows.
My-
It's a
my
fail.
rights
Where's your
absent
right
my
to
brain?
vote absent your brain?
I've been saying this whole time, my rights are God-given.
Your right to vote comes from
So-
God?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. My right,
Wait, hold
my
on.
right
Hold
does
on.
come from God.
$200.
Andrew's got to go
My
take
right to have an
a
opinion from government does.
My right to vote comes from God.
That's right.
Franchisees doing bankrupt corporations. Your substantial rights are what you should focus on.
Yeah, go have a smoke. You can't define consciousness in a physical state. Like,
She's still losing the debate, and Andrew's outside smoking a cigarette.
He hasn't answered why he thinks women
no, he hasn't. The whole thing
He's
has
coming
been.
back.
No,
He's
the
coming
whole
back.
thing
Hold on.
he's been doing here has been because he can't actually answer
Hold on.
why
hold
he
on.
thinks
Hold
that
on.
women shouldn't be
He's
able
gone. He can't respond. So let me get through. a
He
couple
went down
things.
some
Don't stop her, Brian. She was still losing.
really
Rose
crazy long
donated
rabbit hole.
$200.
What he does.
The Constitution is a commercial charter, which expired. The right to vote is a civil right franchisees do in bankrupt corporations. Your substantial rights are what you should focus on.
Okay.
Distinction.
Rose, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, just want to make one thing clear. You know, we're having some debates here. The views expressed by the panelists do not necessarily reflect the views of the whatever podcast. Me specifically, I'm okay. I'm cool.
They reflect mine.
Vote. Women should vote. I'm fine with it. Not trying to get canceled. Women should vote. He has
gonna fast
his own
forward till
thoughts
Andrew
on
comes
that.
back real
Please
quick.
don't cancel me.
I said though, I do think that women should have the right to vote in America.
Wasn't that propagated by the feminists?
No, I think women should have the right. Look,
This
who's
girl's gonna get her
propagating
now.
that?
Hold on.
Where
Hold
did
on.
the
Just
idea-
let's stick to the question.
I'm a reformed feminist.
Reformed feminist, so no longer feminist.
Correct.
Okay. What about you?
I would consider myself a feminist in the sense that women should be given the right to take on certain masculine roles, but I think that it's in our best interest to stay within those boundaries, I guess.
Okay. So, oh, he's coming back. Okay.
There we go.
Madison, are you a feminist?
No.
Okay. Wait, so can you explain your position a little in more detail?
Like, I think that, yeah, women should be able to vote.
Into the
say-
mic, please.
Yeah, I think that women should be able to vote and, go to school and take on more masculine roles, as
More masculine roles.
as was said. But
Mhm.
I think that those gender roles are innate, and I think that both genders benefit from them.
What do you mean?
Like women, like
Into the mic.
a more traditional like household and just gender roles in general, I guess.
So on a societal level, you want equality, but when it comes to the relationship, the intersexual
Yeah, Brian, she wants all the good shit, none of the bad. Typical woman. We get it. Move on.
dynamics between men and women, you want traditional order. Is that my understanding? Okay.
I want to vote, but I don't want to go and defend that vote. I want you to go do it.
So what you,
Typical.
since you mentioned you're fine with, on a societal level, equality between men and women, I assume then you're also in favor of women being subject to military conscription.
I'm not opposed to it.
So you're,
Sure.
well, I mean, equality would demand it. Equality would demand that
Then
women
yes.
are subject to military conscription.
Then yes.
Okay, so
Fine if I gotta.
you're in favor of it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, just checking. Just
Back to the
checking all
covert feminist.
Roles. Andrew's back from his smoke break. How was the smokes?
It was great.
Smokes were good? Let me read a
I
chat.
actually
here.
don't think women should be forced to conscript.
Well, see, that's
I don't think
interesting.
I don't think they should be drafted either.
Yeah, because they have that right from God to not be
Because
drafted.
we're women, right?
Yeah,
we
that's
Right.
your right.
think
from God.
think of it from a logical standpoint, okay?
Okay.
Here
Let's
we
think of
go.
the logic here. Women are who are going to birth the future generations to keep your nation going stronger, correct?
Yeah.
So if you send a bunch of your women out to war to die, you are going to
What's up, Cool Vic? What's up, dude? Good to see you here, buddy. Good to see you here. my chat's awful quiet today.
severely impact your population numbers in your nation, because if you could have fewer men essentially and more women, and you can still balance your population.
Let me come in really quick. Well, okay.
Big hole in this line of
Okay,
argumentation.
so that's one argument. The other argument is that because women are physically not as strong, because women menstruate, because women carry pregnancies, I think that those are reasons why I don't think that it would be beneficial to have them in military service. I think
No one said it would be beneficial. We're saying that's what you got to do anyway.
it's probably going to be more of a burden on the military than it would actually be a help.
Yes, you are a burden.
To argument
First thing I
one,
agree with.
you would still create a gaps argument with this as well. Even if you sent men off, you would end up with less men, which means that unless you suddenly become a Christian polygamist, you're still going to have less men than are required to impregnate the women. And I'm guessing you want one woman per one man. So even sending men off to die, you're still going to have this problem, right?
Well, technically not.
Technically not what?
Well, like if you were to think of, I'm not necessarily advocating for this, but if you had a situation where you had a severely declined population in a nation and you had to increase the numbers, you could increase the numbers via like in vitro fertilization. You could do other types of, and there were people who used to do
You think I'm going to give you my sperm and then go fucking die for you too? Fuck you.
Wouldn't God not vibe with that?
So first,
Right.
In
Well,
vitro
I believe
fertilization.
in vitro
In vitro
fertilization.
fertilization is highly expensive. If you look at Israel has a massive IVF program. It costs their state millions upon millions upon millions, mostly our dollars yearly, and it's not very effective. It's
But the
only
other
hang on,
reason-
I'm almost done. It's only raised it slightly. You still would end up with this gaps argument. If you're a Christian, you believe one man for one woman, you would still be decreasing the population of men, which means that unless you switch over to polygamy, you have this, the argument actually turns on you. If women out there were dying at the same ratio that men were, right, then you would have exactly the amount of men and women that you would need to repopulate, right?
But then, well, not
Agreed. So we got to send them. Send them, boys.
necessarily. I mean, you could technically.
Well, I don't know. I know math.
You could do.
I'm mathing
you
it in my brain right
theoretically,
now.
If you had a dying population on an island, okay, and you had 10 women and 10 men, if you were to try to send your people off to go, fight a group of people,
Yeah.
you would be smart to preserve as many women as you could, because you'd be able to create,
Yes,
duplicate your
unless-
numbers. As long as you had a couple men, you could duplicate the population.
Yes, but then you would be endorsing polygamy, right?
Right, and there were
This would be a good argument if we had population numbers that were appropriate now, but we don't. So you're going to let us make you into a baby farm after? I doubt it.
times when people.
Yeah,
did
but that's
engage in
not within the
polygamy.
Christian ethic, is it?
Well,
Polygamy.
some Christians, I guess. did,
Oh,
but-
so are they the same ones that have female pastors?
Well, no, it's
Is it
actually
those Christians.
No, it's actually That's actually a fact, though, that there were Christian groups that resorted to polygamy to boost their numbers.
Yes,
but anyway,
and it's immoral, though, from the Christian ethic, right?
Okay, and
do agree with that, right?
We're talking about, we're putting on
Desperate to keep that vote. Desperate. That's how big a feminist she is.
our logical
Yes.
nation hat right now as far as what a nation should do for a military. I'm not talking about it from necessarily a Christian
Yeah,
standpoint.
but that was your argument.
But no, that's not what I said. Now,
yes, it was what you said.
Here's the other thing. There's another argument here for it, which is women should have their own sports, right? Because if men compete in women's sports, we all know that the men are going to win because they're stronger, they're faster, the way they're built.
Why should women have sports just because they suck at it? Yeah, men's sports are better, so why do we need women's sports? For what? Women don't watch it, and men don't want to watch it either. So why do we need it? Why do we have to take money from the men to finance the women having something for nobody to watch? It's fucking dumb.
Anatomically, they are, they're stronger, they're faster. So there's no real point to putting a female in a combat situation with men when we know the woman's most
What
likely
if they're all
going
just
to
in
lose.
support roles?
Well, support roles is another thing.
So they should be drafted for support roles.
Well, if it were just something like support roles, as in being a nurse or something like phone communication lines,
Most
then I
roles
would
in
be
the
okay
military are
with that.
not combat roles.
Well, if it's non-combat roles, I would say that then I would agree that women could be conscripted. But I would say that if
I
they're
thought
mothers,
that earlier you said
listen,
it goes against God's ontological nature
I
that He
didn't say
made
God.
I fight better after a blowjob. We'll find a job for you.
women with.
No,
Yes, you
I
did.
didn't say God.
You did. You said their
No, I didn't.
nature for
I
the
didn't
draft
say
is
that.
part of. Yes, you
No,
did.
I said because women menstruate, because women carry pregnancies, because women's
What?
bodies are weaker. I was talking about that being why women shouldn't be in the military. And I think that it would be more of a burden to have them in. And you're pointing out that, okay, well, maybe we have them in non-combat roles. And I would say, well, if they were limited to having the women in non-combat roles, then I would say, okay, but we clearly see that that's not the case. We see that there are women who are being forced to be in combat roles. But if they limited it to only non-combat roles, then I would say,
No woman has ever been forced into a non-combat role. The only ones there are the ones desperate to get there to prove, daddy was wrong. Girls are just as strong.
okay, that might be something that I could be in agreement with, as long as the women are not mothers that have to tend to children.
Okay, so backing up on the basis of argument one, which is, well, if we send the men off to war and a bunch of them die, we can just do polygamy. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that would be against your Christian ethics.
I'm not
So,
necessarily
hang on.
saying that that's.
I get it. So that
it's
that
an
one's
argument.
rejected, right? Obviously, you don't believe that shit, right? That would be bad.
What I'm
And
saying is, if
in
you
order
had
to equalize,
people, a society that the population was seriously hurt because look what happened in World War II. You had hundreds of millions of people being killed,
and they solved that with age
how much-
gap relationships.
Right, and how much harder would it have been to recuperate our population numbers if half of those were women? It probably would have taken a lot longer to recuperate our population.
You would have exactly the amount of men to women. No, that's why it makes no sense, right? The argument falls back on you either way. So either A, women and men go out and they have roughly the same losses, so there's just as many men as there are women, or B, men go out and a bunch of them die, and now you have less men than are necessary for a polygamous relationship with women. You can't have your cake and eat it too here.
Well, here's the thing. If you're talking about having the women in non-combat roles anyway, then the women aren't going to be being put in the position of dying.
Yeah, but
we
we weren't talking about that originally.
Yeah,
women
and that's what I'm
non-combat
saying.
roles.
One of my
I brought
arguments
that
was
up.
population numbers, but what I'm saying is what your argument was, okay, well, what if the women are in the non-combat roles?
Right.
Well, therefore, it wouldn't be affecting population numbers because the women are not going to be in direct combat. They're not going to be in combat. Their lives are not likely to be being taken from them. So at that point, it's less likely to run into the very problem that I was
Now
talking about.
let's move into non-combat roles. Wouldn't it still be effective even in the non-combat roles to have men serve in those roles than women, since a lot of them require a lot of physical labor?
Well, I think that it's possible for some women to be able to fulfill that role.
Outliers,
but I
yes.
think that the outliers, right? Like the 6 foot tall big girls that can do
Yeah,
that.
all 26 of them. Yeah.
You know, right? But I think that as a whole, most women are not going to be suited for like combat
military
roles.
service at all, right?
Well, I would say
So why should
especially
we? If
combat
they can't
roles.
defend the nation, then they can't.
I'm not
if they
saying
can't-
military service
if they
at all.
can't-
I agreed with
If
you
they can't
that
defend
they
our
could do
nation as a
non-combat
whole,
roles.
and you're depending on men then to defend your nation for you
Okay.
and go out and die, that's why I think they should be able to vote, and you shouldn't.
Okay, well, you just acknowledged that women could perform non-combat roles. So
As
you
long
just
as men let
defeated
them.
your own
And
argument.
yet they're still not being drafted. So yeah, he just won the debate.
No, I didn't defeat my own argument. It defeated
You
yours
did.
3 times. Here,
You just
let's go through it.
contradicted your own
all,
argument
we'll
earlier.
go all
You're
3
just-
times. There's no contradiction.
You're literally
There's
contradicting.
no contradiction. I was granting your argument for the purpose of destroying it. I showed you, yes, even if we added them as non-combatants, gave you that argument to save you from you.
If this were
even
Tron,
if
you
we
would
were
have
to,
crashed already a million
even
times.
if we were to grant your
He's
argument,
contradicting himself.
what's the contradiction? Give
The
me some.
contradiction was you just said.
Uh-huh.
You literally said that women can do non-combat
No, I said,
roles.
what if we move them into those roles?
Okay, because you know they're capable.
No.
You wouldn't have even have suggested that if you.
That's
didn't-
why we clarified
Okay.
immediately after.
To be fair, I do think they're capable of making me a sandwich. So we could get them to do that, first of all. And we could find other shit. Garbage cans got to be cleaned. We got to do a lot of cleaning in the military, too. They could find something for these bitches to do if they want to vote. That's why we make it an option. And then most won't, so the vote gets better. And the ones who do, yeah, you find something degrading for them to do.
By saying,
Okay.
wouldn't men be better in those
All right.
roles? And you
So
were like,
you're
yeah, they
contradicting
would,
yourself.
Andrew. They would be better in those roles. And I was like, yeah, see, I grant everyone's argument for the purpose of destroying it twice.
No, you're contradicting.
There's no
yourself.
contradiction. Point it out.
Okay, the contradiction was you suggested that women can fulfill non-combat
I granted
roles.
your argument, yes.
No, that was your argument. You
I-
presented that.
I said, what if we move them into
You
non-com
presented that.
roles?
Rewind. Everyone can
I
rewind.
said, what
that
if we
you
move them
originally
into
presented
non-com
that as
roles?
an
You said,
argument.
yeah, we could do that. So then I said, but even if we did, wouldn't men be better in that role? You said, yes, absolutely. And I went, well, then that's really not a viable argument either.
Would they be better in the role
Yeah.
in a non-combat role?
Yes.
They would be better in a
Yes.
non-combat role.
So
You're
then,
right.
if we want the most effective military, we want it to be men. Therefore, men are the enforcers. And even if we did move women, all women into non-combat roles,
Mm-hmm.
they still would not be going out and doing the killing and the dying. So therefore, they still should get the big piece of chicken,
I have
the
a
extra
question.
piece of meat, and the voting rights.
Okay, here's the question:
Checkmate.
Is sitting there behind a desk operating a drone a non-combat role?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how
It
it's
is a
classified.
non-combat role because
Oh, and who's really good at playing video games? Boys or girls? Think about it real hard. Who's better at playing video games? So you're going to make the military weaker to give them a spot so they don't have to go and die. Nah, fuck you. Get out get out in the field. I'll put them on the field.
is when you are.
Is it? Is
Yeah,
it
it
classified
is.
as a non-combat role? I'm not sure.
You're sitting. It's not hand-to-hand combat. Okay,
So?
it's not physical combat.
So what?
You
That
can
doesn't mean
sit
it.
behind a desk
so what?
and you can operate
Being in
a
a
drone.
tank's not hand-to-hand combat either.
That's
Is that a non-combat role? You're in a tank. What about an F-16? That's not hand-to-hand.
I may have had the volume a little high. That may be what was causing the echoes. Let me know if it gets better, okay, fellas?
Well, there aren't that many women pilots. It does take a lot of physical impact on your body to be a pilot.
Right. So
Because
the
you
best
have to
pilots are going to be
withstand
men.
G-force.
The best tankers are going to be men. The best non-combatants are going to be men, and the best combatants are going to be men. We
Well-
want the most powerful military. We know that men are going to enforce your rights. Therefore, men get to vote because they have more stake in the game, and you don't.
Who had the men that are being sent off to die? I'm just
Men
saying.
could have you whether you wanted them to have you or not. That's the point of enforcement. The point of enforcement is, regardless of what women want, whatever they claim, where they claim, oh no, we're equal, we're ontologically equal, we're physically equal, we have the same knowledge bases, we have all. Men can just take what they
Thanks, Infected. Is the volume going down? Did that make it better?
want. Collectively, if men say tomorrow, you have no rights, you don't
Okay,
have
so,
any.
So you're going back to thinking women shouldn't have the right to vote.
I'm saying to you that due to enforcement, if men say collectively tomorrow, you have no rights, you don't have any. Would you like me to point out country after country where this is true?
It's horrible.
But I thought they were inherent from God.
They are.
Oh, they should be.
But the
is what
reason
you meant to say.
People choose to do bad things.
The only
People-
reason
in the
why
world.
men
Sorry,
are
but I
choose
thought
to-
that it was inherent.
People choose to break from God's will all the time. It's called sin. It's
Okay.
because He gave us free will.
So
Renee,
God
what were you
gave
going
you
to say?
God gave you rights and you just ignore them.
I was going to ask him. All men are enforcers because of the historical trend of men being in power.
No,
but,
it's because they can literally stomp you to death and there's nothing you can do
okay,
about it. That's
true.
why.
They're
Do you
physically
give your
stronger.
wife any
But
say
if
in
we-
decisions
if
in your
we lived-
household?
If we
Sometimes.
lived in like a
Sometimes.
female.
Okay, so your wife has the same.
I know you
Hold
think
on.
that's impossible, but if I can pose that hypothetical that we
Right.
live in an all-female government where the women are the ones who enforce the rights, is that
Women can't enforce the rights. They would still rely on men to enforce the rights.
okay? Let's
If men, I'll explain it.
physically, yes.
Hang on.
The woman could be a
I'm trying to
queen, and
explain
then
it
the
to
man
you.
can
No,
enforce the rights.
nope.
But why can a woman not vote in that
I'm going to
scenario?
explain it to you so
Go
that
ahead.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you had a 100% powerhouse government of all women. They're all She-Ra bitches in tight leather who do ninja kicks in men's faces.
Problematic,
They
okay.
are the action movie stars that you have seen. They are the Black
Themyscira from Wonder Woman.
Widows, okay? Still wouldn't matter because ultimately the enforcement of the population, if it collectively said, nope, they're gone. And there's nothing they can do about it, but in reverse, it's not true. If men collectively say to women, we're in charge and you're not, you can do shit. That's the distinction.
But
whether or not you're in charge is always going to be based on men allowing you to be in charge because collectively they can take that away. Women could not collectively take it away from them.
So your whole argument is men should be able to vote and women no because men are physically stronger. And men can physically overpower them.
because-
And that's the definition
no.
of rights.
No, his
No.
argument
Partially because they're not brain dead too.
Oh.
is that the reason they should have the right to vote is because they have the inherent burden
Burden
having
of
to protect
defending
the
you.
country.
The burden is being physically stronger.
No.
Not just physically
yes, it is, because
stronger.
if we were physically stronger, then all of this would be
Mentally
reversed.
stronger.
But you're not.
Yeah, but
So who cares?
Well, you were
but
just
who's to
telling-
say that's not just an anatomical argument? That doesn't have any.
Wait a second. Let's
valency.
assume for a second that it is just an anatomical argument. So what?
Aren't you losing out on billions of women for your economy, for your scientific
No.
advancement?
Why?
what
Those
they
bitches can still work. They just can't vote.
Those are they going to want to work if they can't vote?
Do we?
Yes. I don't even think you'll notice, except every 4 years you got a little extra time on your hands one Tuesday.
Are
care what
gonna
they
wanna-
want inherently? That's the point. The point is, if you
they
have
gonna
the
wanna raise
enforcement arm
children?
and the enforcement collective of the enforcement arm, people don't have a choice. You don't get to go, well,
Then
we
why
don't want
do
to work.
women-
They go,
Then why
we
can
don't
women
care
vote?
if you want to work.
Then
That's
why
the
can women
point.
vote? Then why can women vote? Then why can women
Because
vote?
they're allowed to by the benevolent patriarchy.
I have a question. So
And when the
Because that's what-
benevolent patriarchy decides to take that away,
It's
they
not.
ain't gonna
no,
vote.
no, it's not benevolency. It's not benevolency. It's
is.
they have to.
They don't have to.
Yes, they do.
Why?
Revolution. Female revolution. You think it's not possible?
Female
It's not
revolution.
possible. But
Tell me all about the
they-
female revolution.
okay, listen. Not like
Where
actual,
was that?
Not like actual.
Did they
war.
grab guns and take the patriarchs
You
down?
look
the
really
bastard?
Notice which side of the table is siding with Millennial Millie here too. She just was saying, I'm not one of them. Looks like they're fighting together, doesn't it?
Brains
You look
with their
really
rifle
silly and
barrels?
emotional right now,
Ooh, they
girl.
were
Are you on your period?
savages.
Anyways.
He might be.
Holy shit, this is hilarious.
but what I was
Female
saying-
revolution.
Yeah, okay. Like, as in, we stop doing our motherly duties. We
Mm-hmm.
abort all of our children, ourselves. All right? we don't work.
You just coat hanger
up.
them out, right?
Sorry.
But hey, the whole, here's the big,
Wait, speaking to
giant,
the mic.
massive hole in your argument again. Why do you think that you're allowed to do any of those things if the patriarchy says no?
But they play chess. They play chess. Why
Mm-hmm.
would they allow us to if they didn't have to? The only reason why they allow us to do things is because they have to.
That's weird. So every move you make on a chessboard is because you have to make the move?
No. What I'm sa-
No.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
Yeah?
if they box you, if the other person is playing chess and they box you in somehow, you're gonna have to move to not get checkmate,
she's
right?
with the men. She's
And?
right.
So
with that,
men
she's
would
right.
take all the power if they
Thinking
could.
of stalemate,
They
I think.
can.
Yeah, they would take away our right
Which-
to vote
Not checkmate.
tomorrow
Which-
if they could, but they
Which
can't.
brings
No,
me to
they-
the question
you have
I've been
what
trying
is
to ask for like
called-
30 minutes.
You have what is
Why?
called a benevolent patriarchy.
Well,
And because
no.
the
I think she was thinking about in chess whenever you can cause a stalemate because you can't move without moving into check. I think that's what she's thinking of. I don't know.
patriarchy is benevolent. They don't like to see women uncomfortable.
Okay, so-
they have worked.
Oh, they don't like to
They
see
don't.
women uncomfortable.
They have worked
Or
tirelessly inside of the Christian ethic to do everything that they possibly can do.
All
So
men
that
work within the Christian
women, most men in the side of the United States did, yeah.
Most men.
Okay,
I
but
have a
why?
question.
Why
What was your question?
Thank you. Why is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
So aside everything that we've been, listening to for the last 30 minutes, which is like reactionary, why, if men believe this, why are they not then reinforcing this into their house? Because, like she said,
belief
men,
is the key.
Yeah, but men in
But
their own
the
houses,
odds-
why are they being cucks to the
Saying-
feminist
saying that
ideology and not
again,
controlling their own house?
Saying something is true versus something
No,
ought.
that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm saying why
Yeah,
are
you
men
are.
not defending their own beliefs in their own
That's a
home
descriptive
and
claim of
enforcing
is.
them? Why are they
Is
not
that a
enforcing
descriptive
their
claim
own-
of is, or is it an ought claim?
No, I'm saying, why are men not being accountable in their own houses and leading their women and children to the best way that
Let's
they
back
see
up
fit?
so I can try to explain it to you.
Change the
That is
split
an
on
is
the
claim. When you say, why aren't men doing X, you're talking about what is happening
So
currently.
you
Stop
ought to tell your
talking.
wife not to vote.
Still trying. She doesn't. I vote. And she votes how I tell her to double my vote. Now, back to this. What you're asking, that is an is claim, right? It's a descriptive truth of what's happening right now, right?
Men are not enforcing what they believe
Right.
in their house. Yes.
Right. Okay, so that is a descriptive claim. It's not an ought claim of what should happen.
Well, they should be enforcing their ideology in their home.
Just because you can have a society which can be brainwashed and they can do all sorts of things like, oh, I don't know, have a social contagion like the LGBTQ, where Gen Z says now that 1 in 4 of them identify as homosexual, right? You can claim that that's a social contagion. Populations can be bamboozled; they are all the time. But if you look at patriarchal, if you talk about patriarchal nations, though, I can point nation after nation after nation after nation who literally says to women, no rights.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying
But
that the
that's what
men
you
who
wanna
are
do.
leader,
That's
the
not
men.
what I want to do.
I'm
It's what
saying,
you just
What I wanna
argued.
do.
no,
No,
that's not
it's
even.
not
That's
what I
not
just
even what I'm
argued.
talking
Okay.
about. I'm saying that the men
Why
within
do you
their
think
own
that
homes
women
are supposed
not being?
to.
Do you think that women in this nation were oppressed until they had the right to vote a few years ago? Seriously? Is that what you think? You think our founders oppressed women on purpose? They just wanted to oppress them all? Tell me.
What does that have to do
Oh, the oppression of not having to die in war. You poor victims.
with the men taking
I mean,
accountability?
Is that what you
not,
think?
not having a say in the government
Grid
is
1
kind of.
Motorsports
They were just
donated
oppressing women, our
$200.
founders.
One second.
Men share power. There is no balance power. There is no power dynamic. There are no boss babes.
No.
Please revolt. I double dog dare you. The patriarchy stands
Double
ready
dog
to teach you the wages of arrogance.
Yeah, so anyway, you think that our founders and you think America was inherently sexist towards women. I just want to hear you say that on record because we didn't let them vote. Go
The
ahead.
men actually did vote to allow women to vote. So
Okay,
I
but
can't
that was
say that the men
recent.
didn't allow them
That
to
was
vote.
recent. Most of American
Okay.
history, that is not the case, correct?
Well, there was a long period of time where women did not have the right to vote. and
Right.
They didn't have the right to own
most
property.
But
You used to
most,
need to
just
go
so
to
you know,
war
though,
to
most
vote.
men
You
also
used to need
most
to
men
go
also
to
did
war.
not have the right to vote.
By
get
the
the
way,
right to vote.
actually, one of the
It was not
reasons
just,
why some of
I wanna
the
vote, so I'm gonna
Christian
vote.
churches actually engaged in polygamy, which I'm not endorsing polygamy, but one of the reasons was because when a woman's husband died in war
Mm-hmm.
or any illness, anything, they didn't have the right to own the property. So what they would do is that's why they would
Women always
Feminist talking point right here.
had the right
engage
to
in
own property,
no.
especially their husbands. Yes, they
No,
did.
they
That's a
didn't.
feminist talking
They would
point. They
marry
always
in
did.
order to retain the
No,
property.
in fact, the opposite is true. Men couldn't retain women's property.
Yeah.
Women could always retain their own property. How the fuck do you not know this stuff? This is basic anti-feminist
dumb.
rhetoric 101. Women could always own property in the United States. Where did you get the idea that they couldn't? Where did you ever get that idea?
Women's studies classes.
Yeah, no shit.
I didn't take women's studies
Well, where did you get the idea they
Well,
couldn't
that's
own
where the idea
property?
came
That's
from.
literally I've read about it in history
Where?
that women didn't
Where
have the
did you
right
read
to
this? And
own
never
property.
happened.
Tell her about Mary Washington.
.com? Where the fuck? Where was this at that you read about women not being
So you're
able to
saying
own
women
property?
always had the right to own property?
Yes, women could always own property. Where almost everywhere in the world, women could own property.
One question related to the
This is the
ratings.
second
Does
video.
anybody here think
I've
they're
gotta
gonna be
jump-
more physically
Pause
attractive?
it. I got to jump ahead to the 27-minute mark. So this is not, we're going to have a long in this one, I think. There we go. Here we go.
Here from Alex. Alex says, I enjoy your Christian views. Oh, hey, AB Check. Thanks for the gifted 20 memberships. Appreciate it, man. Andrew, but you lose me when you start acting petty, ignorant, and belittling of these women. If you want your message to be heard, is this tone policing? I don't know. The delivery
I think Alex has a vagina. That's got to be one of those female Alexes. Transformer.
matters.
Stop simping, Alex.
Dude, chill out.
Stop simping, Alex.
He has.
It's a lady.
Room
Is
full
that
of-
Mary?
It's a room full of crazy feminists. Let's see you do better.
He's got a rainbow on his icon, his little graphic down there. I'm pretty sure that's a female Alex.
I'm not a feminist.
Yes, you're a feminist.
I am absolutely
oh,
not a
you
feminist.
absolutely are a feminist.
No, I'm not.
You're an egalitarian.
I am not a
vote
feminist.
harder feminist
I'm
libertarian.
not a feminist.
Yes,
no, I'm
you
not.
are.
I'm not a feminist.
Then what is feminism?
Wait,
I'm
can I
not a
ask you a
feminist.
question?
Here, let's. No, are we
I don't
having
know,
an
I'm not a
argument?
feminist.
Sit there
Please.
while we have the argument. Go
You
ahead.
I'm a
define it.
woman.
I'm not a feminist.
Where did Maddie go?
So I'll agree with her definition. Feminism is the movement
I'm not a
towards...
feminist. Don't even go there.
I'm-
You don't get to say what I am
I just
and
did.
I'm not.
I just did.
Yeah,
It's
well,
the
you're
movement
lying.
towards egalitarianism between men and women inside society. How do you delineate from that?
I have a question. Do you think that
No.
Can't answer
Okay.
it.
Anyway, so back to this. How do you delineate from that?
Anyway,
Zip it.
How do you delineate from that?
I'm not answering your question.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
right.
You just,
Shitting all
you
night.
literally
Right.
just made a false claim against
I'll
me
make
that
it
I'm
again.
a feminist, and I'm not.
If
so.
you are a feminist,
No.
okay, so I'll
And
define
you're a purple
feminism.
penguin.
I'll define feminism.
Penguin.
Yeah, I mean, he's just making things
Then
up, so I
let's have the
cannot.
argument. The delineation, or we'll
You're
allocate
from
Let's not,
England.
let's not bring aquatic animals
Yeah.
into this
Yeah.
conversation. Go ahead, Andy.
a feminist.
I'm pretty sure
and
you're
feminism
saying you're a
is
woman,
the
right?
movement
I love the squirming. That's when I start to really enjoy when they start squirming. So here we go.
towards the egalitarian equality of men and women. How do you differ from a feminist?
Because I'm not. I don't believe in feminism.
That doesn't
I
tell me
believe in
anything. How do you
the
differ
traditional
from the
roles,
movement of
traditional gender roles.
egalitarianism?
Right.
That's not antithetical to feminism.
She doesn't understand. Because I believe the same things as feminists doesn't make me a feminist. Yes, it does.
Right. I'm not a feminist.
So how do you delineate from the movement of the egalitarianism between men and women?
If you think she's wrong, why don't you provide solutions?
Why don't you let us have the argument without interjecting? Go
Because
ahead.
men provide solutions.
And women be silent while they do. Go ahead.
Submit.
I've not heard you provide a single solution.
I think it's hilarious.
The solution is to, yeah, I did multiple times. I already said we should limit suffrage. We should limit the women's right to vote. We should do all sorts of different things. I gave tons of solutions. You just have a selective memory because you are interjecting again when there's an argument that doesn't even include you. Go ahead.
I'm not a feminist. I just
Okay, so how do you differ
You don't
from
get to
this
define
ideology?
what I am
do.
and am not.
I get to define what
No, you
feminism
don't.
is.
This isn't some
Then give me a
gender bender
definition.
stuff where you
Then
get
give
to
me a
pick and
definition of
choose.
feminism. What is it?
what I am.
Fine. Then what is the
There you go.
definition of feminism? How do you differ
I don't know
from
because
it?
I'm not a feminist.
You don't.
I'm not a feminist.
She just defined it as whatever I am.
Wait a second. What's
feminist is if
what-
you don't know the definition?
is that a cup? How do you know you're not a cup? That makes no sense. How do you differ from feminists in ideology if it's the movement towards the egalitarian equality of men and women? Yes,
I can hear the static. I can hear the static in her head when I look at her.
just nothing.
I'm not a feminist. I already told
Yeah,
you.
I know, I know.
don't
You
believe.
just-
I believe in traditional roles, man and woman, marriage.
And if a transgender was
women-
sitting where
women
you are,
being
they would be like,
children.
I'm not a man, I'm a woman.
No, that's not. Look, it's not even the same. I don't even
It
understand
is
how you're
exactly
equating.
the same.
You're-
So how do
you're
you
just
delineate then?
claiming I'm something.
Okay, so I'll just ask again so that I don't strawman any positions. Do you agree that feminism is the movement of egalitarianism between men and women?
You're wrong because the goal of feminism is to reach full equality.
Not
and
arguing
that is
with
not
you
what
one
she
at a
wants.
time, please. Thank you.
Zip it.
Go ahead.
So which is actually crazy.
I still don't see how you are the one who made a
Once
claim.
donated $200.
Here's the thing. You made a
On
claim.
this, you are a feminist.
No.
Wait, just let
Almost
it.
all of your talking
And I
points
backed my
have
claim up
been-
with the definition. And said you
I
don't
am not a
delineate from the...
feminist.
Okay, well then give me a counter definition how you delineate from it.
Just because you think a woman should be able to vote doesn't mean you're a feminist.
Okay, great.
That's how all of them are when he starts doing it to them. I'm going to start doing just covert feminists for a while. I want to get them all out of the way.
Feminism, do you agree, is the movement of egalitarianism between men and women or not?
I would say yes.
Okay,
Probably.
how do you delineate from that? That's what I thought.
She wants the preservation of social norms for men and women.
What I thought.
And that is not what
Do you need a
feminists want.
cigarette?
I
There's
do.
a little
I
cigarette
think I
break.
do.
No,
need
no,
a
I
break for that
I
one.
think that. Good lord. I think that for you to sit there and just claim I'm something I'm not is
You just did.
disrespectful.
I just said,
It's-
is that
it's
the definition?
condescending.
You said yes. I said, how do you delineate? Nothing.
Yeah, because you didn't give me a chance
Okay,
to
I'll give you a chance.
You didn't give me a chance to
Okay, I'm
respond.
giving you a chance.
That was like a 30-second pause. Just, I needed longer.
Okay,
fuck?
because you don't know all of my belief sets.
Okay, give me the belief set that
on
delineates from that.
on marriage, on gender roles, on the role of a man
Still
and a woman
waiting
in
for the belief
relationships.
delineation. What is it?
Okay. What?
Waiting for that delineation. from feminism. What is it?
He's asking you how you deviate from that.
How do I deviate from feminism?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I believe that, women should be mothers and prioritize a motherhood role over a career. And that's one thing I think that feminists would probably disagree with.
Some.
Okay, but you would also agree that there's many feminists who would agree that that's just fine if mothers want to prioritize that.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, so what actually delineates your ideology from the feminist ideology of egalitarianism?
That women should submit to their husbands.
That women should submit to their husbands. Okay, and are
If
they...
their husbands submit first to God.
Okay, so maybe there's... If that's true, and we'll get into that next. Now this is more interesting. So when you say submission, what do you mean?
They should submit to their husbands.
What does that mean?
Like, they should trust their husband's judgment in the home. And basically, to a certain degree, they should trust his judgment and allow him to make some of the decisions. But I think that it kind of becomes one of those things where it's not that the woman doesn't have a say, but it's that they should submit to the husband.
What if
because
he
knows better.
says, no, you have no say?
Well, I guess the thing you'd have to think about is his decision making in line with God's, with what God says and what the Bible says.
Well, the Bible says to submit
If
to
it's
him.
something that would
That's what it says,
Well,
right?
well, here's an example. If your husband said that you should go and say do it on OnlyFans, right? Would you say that a woman should submit to that?
Well, that wouldn't be an actual Christian marriage at that point, right?
Right. So at that point, he would be
But if you're in
deviating
a
from
Christian,
what God's law
if you're in
is. So
a
a woman
Christian
should
marriage,
not, in that case,
yeah. If you're in a
submit.
Christian marriage, though, he's a Christian, you're a Christian.
Right.
He's not going to be asking you to do OnlyFans.
Right.
Okay, so should you submit even if he?
As long as what he's saying is in line with God,
Well,
yes,
let's say he says-
absolutely, and with the Bible, with teaching.
Let's say he says something like this. Let's say he comes to you, and you guys are discussing finances, and he goes, actually, we're just going to do everything this way, and I don't give a shit what you have to say about it. And I'm emptying out your account tomorrow, and I'm going to do what I want with the money, and you need to just deal with it. Are you going to just shut up and take that?
I already let
That's a
my
no.
husband do what he wants with my account. So
Right now, do you have your own account?
it's a joint. He's on it, and he does whatever he wants to it.
Okay, well, maybe there's a slight deviation then, which is that you'll allow for some sort of
Yeah,
submission.
allow for him to look at my phone. I look at his phone. I can do. He
But
can do what.
do you-
Some feminists submit like inside of like the relationship anyway. It's not always. I mean, I would have guessed. I've never been with one, but I would think they
Or
would.
he wants on my accounts.
Do you think that women should be forced to submit in marriage?
I think that women should always be able to some degree, have the right to choose and have a right of consent. Basically, a man shouldn't be able to force himself on a woman.
Yeah, of course not.
A man shouldn't be like, basically, if a man's like, I want to have, tonight, and she's like, no, she has a right to say no, right? She has a right to choose.
Do you believe that there's implied consent in a marriage?
What do you mean? Like
Your husband rolls over in the morning and you're still asleep and he plows you.
Fuck.
Were you SA'd?
No.
No.
But if you,
So
but
there's
if
an
you were
implied
saying,
consent?
if,
Legally, there's already
Yes,
implied
yes,
consent.
in the law.
if you were saying no, stop, then I would say that it was rape.
Okay.
As soon as a woman, it's implied consent. As soon as a woman says no, it's no longer consent, right?
Okay.
Can I just ask, how do y'all's view of feminism influence your expectations for dating and marriage and all that sort of stuff?
Also,
I like that question. I like that.
I'll tie this one up
wait,
with
really
this.
quick. I'm not going to let you get away with it because you called me a
Yeah,
feminist.
keep it on you.
How am I a feminist?
Yeah,
Like,
because the only thing that you could come up with,
ridiculous.
the only thing that you could
Okay.
come up with, and by the way, feminists
can't just make
also
blanket claims like that.
feminists who make claims that they're Christians will also make a claim for submission. They'll say, I'll do it within the context
not
of
true.
There you go.
religiosity. But when it comes to society itself, you want to see the egalitarian movement of men and women, and you've said it over and over
I
and
didn't say
over
that.
and over.
I did not say that.
Okay, well then give me a deviation, which is not personal, but is a societal prescription.
A societal prescription. Here's what I'll say. I would say that my belief set as far as relationships go is very traditional in that I totally believe in the dynamics of the man fulfilling the male role, the woman fulfilling the female role, and those being very defined in that.
But feminists
what
can
I would
believe that
say,
too. It has nothing to do with an egalitarian prescription for society. What sorts of things do you think, as far as egalitarianism in society, would you move away from when it comes to men and women under the law or under any type of social patriarchy? Like, here's a good example. Do you support a patriarchy?
yes,
Static.
Yes?
to a certain degree, yeah.
What does that mean, though? A certain degree.
I believe that men should be allowed to be masculine and fully embrace their
patriarchy means
masculinity.
men are in charge.
I believe in traditional roles.
Yeah.
Patriarchy
Patriarchy
men,
means
chivalry.
Patriarchy means the father, right? Men are in charge.
Yes.
That's what it means. So if
Right.
men are in charge and women can't be in charge, is that okay with you?
I don't think that that's how it naturally happens in the nuclear family unit, though, to a certain degree, because women do have say in matter. They do have a say in matters. It's not that a woman never has a say in any matter.
Do you think a woman should be able to be president? I feel like that's kind of what he's asking. President, or just a large leadership role, something like that, right?
Is that what you're asking?
Are you saying that all women? This is my question. Are you saying that all
he's
women?
asking legally what
Right.
we can't do that men can.
My question is, so you're saying, okay, so not only should women not vote, but they shouldn't be able to hold any type of a job. They
didn't
shouldn't be
say a
able to
job.
hold any political positions.
Political positions, no.
Okay, so why would they be expected to work and provide, which is a role that a male is supposed to perform for his family, but not be able to vote?
We don't expect them to work inside of a patriarchal system.
Okay, so you're saying the women should be allowed to work, though?
They should be allowed to work. That doesn't mean that they should have to work.
Okay, so how?
She just doesn't understand how words work. She starts thinking he's agreeing with her because she's not fucking paying attention. This should be tattooed on every woman at birth that they're going to do this.
How is that not a feminist belief then?
How is that a feminist belief? Because I'm telling you that I endorse a patriarchal system. Patriarchal systems traditionally have protected women.
If women are working, though, wouldn't that
They
be considered the job of the man?
work. There could be interests that they have. Or they might need a little part-time cash or something like this. But if you contracted 50% of the workforce, which would be female tomorrow, wages would fucking skyrocket, and I guarantee you men would be making a lot more money. So the question becomes, if you're inside of a patriarchal system, the patriarchy itself is in charge. Women can't hold political office at all. They say, no, you're not allowed to hold political office, which was the tradition of the United States. No, you're not allowed to vote, which was the tradition of the United States. What's your problem with
Well,
that?
you realize that the United States is a corporation, right?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. That's some
Yes, it
sovereign
is.
citizen
No,
bullshit.
it actually is a corporation.
No, it's not a corporation.
It is a corporation.
What type of corporation?
It is a corporation.
What type of corporation? Is it an S corp? Is it an S corporation?
Oh gosh. Okay, so what I'm getting at here is
She preferred to be looked at as a moron than being looked at as a feminist. So she's just trying to change her heat up here. And now everybody just thinks she's stupid. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck sovereign
women
citizen
should be
shit.
able to work and fulfill roles at corporations and at jobs, but they shouldn't be
Can.
able to.
I said can,
They
not
shouldn't
should.
be able to fulfill political role in office.
Can is different than should. You realize this, right?
So
if I say should, that means ought to do. If I say can, means capable of. So yes, women should be capable of working and should be able to work if they choose to work. Doesn't mean they should work. There's a distinction between those two words. When you're living inside of, a patriarchal society, what would your actual problem with a patriarchal society be, or do you have none?
My actual deviation would just be more along the lines of traditional nuclear family roles.
Why would that not exist inside of a patriarchal
Because
system?
that's not what we're seeing today. We're seeing
So
the feminist
don't live in a
movement of today.
patriarchy.
We're seeing women pushing for young girls to never get married, to just stay sexually promiscuous and just go get a job in
We don't
gender
live
studies.
in a
I thought you said we live in a
patriarchy.
benevolent patriarchy where
No,
you
I
guys
never
allow us
did.
to vote. Yes, you did.
I said
Roll
the best.
tapes.
I said the best.
I think she's conflating feminism with third wave feminism and fourth wave feminism. He should be asking her about first wave feminism because she definitely agrees with everything from first wave feminism. You know, the Susan B. Anthony's and shit. She would agree with all those principles. So he should focus on that and then just be like, well, maybe you're just a first wave feminist. And then she probably still wouldn't admit it.
Thing about a benevolent patriarchy is that they don't use the enforcement arm to
Saying that
oppress you.
saying the best thing about
Stop
something implies
talking
that it
and
exists.
I'll get back to you.
You just told me stop talking in the middle of my conversation
until I
because you got pwned.
until I finish this.
How dare you tell me to stop talking in the middle of my interruption?
Anyway, go ahead.
By 19-year-old.
Unbearable. Would you date one of those? Just fucking ugh.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Here, let's move on. We got to move on, guys. We got other. Okay, you said your friend.
All right, and that's for another day. So let me take this down. And that's the two I wanted to show y'all today. I think I'm going to start focusing on the covert feminists because I think they're a much bigger issue. You know, you come in with blue hair and a fucking piercing between your nostrils. We already know where you fucking stand. But these covert feminists are the dangerous ones because they get elevated in our system. They'll go on Pierce Morgan. They'll go on all these big platforms. Millennial Millie, she's been monetized for at least 6-7 years. I watched some of her videos a long time ago. And Caitlin Bennett stole a lot of her thunder, being the one that was more firearms related, and she had a little bit more knowledge. And I think I'd like to see what his take on Caitlin Bennett is. I'm sure it's probably similar lines to Millennial Millie, but I am curious about that. But I'm going to start doing the covert feminist because I definitely think that's a much bigger issue with what we're dealing with today. And sometimes it's just they don't like the word feminist because they've made all their content around, criticizing feminists. So now you're calling them the thing that they've been criticizing for 6-7 years. That's why they flip out and start shaking. She couldn't answer a single fucking question. Every answer is a question back. That's a sign you're fucked, especially against Andrew, because he'll smell that. He can smell that. But I did like that. Yeah, I'm starting to see it now. All of them, all of our protected groups have some magical land that they just think is the women have Themyscira, blacks have Wakanda, the Jews have Israel. They all have this magical overseas land. Ain't it funny? But I think I'm gonna end this one here today. Let's meet back here maybe tomorrow. I've got to see I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning, but it should be a quick one. So I might be on tomorrow evening. And if not, I'm thinking about doing the watch party for whatever again, even though this one didn't go off all that great and it was embarrassing. I might try and do it again, but just wait until like 9 o'clock at night. So I get like 2 to 2.5 hours of like fast forward through boring shit. Cause that was so boring, but they did end up having some good clips from it. So I don't know, man. I think I need to have that buffer space to get through all the how you doings and shit and, the boring parts of it. So maybe something around 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday night might be the good time spot. But my gummy's going to really be doing a number on me. So it may be a short one. Somebody might have to watch me. Yeah, let's end it for today. I will see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. And if not, I'm sure I'll be on Saturday or Sunday. I'm starting to get where I can do this a lot more easily. It was taking me a full day just to get a thumbnail. So I'm starting to get them a lot quicker. So y'all start seeing more of me. Lucky you. So I will see y'all. Peace.